Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Jacob Weil here,
And Blue Dragon 5.
and welcome to Season 6, Episode 3 of Rick and Morty, Bethic Twinstinct, where the series takes You Do You to its literal analogical epic extreme. So, yeah. You agree with that sentiment, Dragon?
So that kind of sums it up, yeah.
It's like, basically, it takes You Do You and takes it very, very, very literally.
Yeah, that it does. That it does.
So, Dragon, what'd you think?
Yeah, this is a very strange episode. It's very ambitious.
I mean,
Let's say that much.
it's strange even for this show's standards.
Yeah. They're walking a line here, but I can't say it's not a line that we've seen kind of flirted with in other places. But Rick and Morty, classic fare. They really went for it, and as you kind of hinted at, they went kind of all the way to the logical conclusion, like kind of the kind of the logical progression that we don't dream of seeing, we don't want to see, but it's like, dear God, we saw it. There it is.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, and let's just say it's one heck of a Thanksgiving episode.
Yep, it's a couple weeks early, a couple months early for a Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah. The holiday thing's always kind of weird how that times out with Rick and Morty. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily as good as the is probably like the whole presidential pardon turkey thing from
Wait,
was it last season or 2 seasons ago?
I think it was last season.
Yeah, last season, but yeah, it's still yeah.
I mean, speaking of which, I was actually referenced in this episode.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Let me double check. Yep, that was last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Rick apparently now has the ability to transform into a turkey.
Yep, and yeah. So far, here's something to note. We're still down portal travel. It's still not
It's
it's taken off the table so far.
it's like one of the I forget which Beth said it, but like one of those like what you can try portal. Oh wait, you can't.
I think that's Space Beth who said that.
She's like you could try portaling away. Oh wait, you can't.
Exactly. Yeah, we've again Evil Morty's kind of hijacked portal travel. It seems.
Which we have still yet to see any trace of him this season.
Yeah, well, if I'm betting, man, I'm going to say. Of course, they could always just prove me wrong instantly. He'll be in the next week's, but I'm thinking he won't show up till the end of the season.
Well, that's why I said yet.
Yeah.
So yeah. So do you want to get going on this episode, Dragon, or do you want to point anything out first?
Nah, let's. I mean, it's a proper amount of heady concept. That again, what I really love about this episode is it's really grounded in we ground despite the really out there heady idea. It's really grounded in realism in terms of the reactions and how our cast of characters are calling Beth out for what's happening. Like that impressed me in the writing, and again, kind of grounded a really out there and kind of weird concept. So that was interesting. So okay, all that said, let's just dive right into it. As we said, Thanksgiving episode.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Where Morty's got the most realistic video game console ever.
Okay, so the video game. Here's the thing. I gotta tell you, Jacob. I saw like a brief promo of this episode. I was thinking, I had no idea this was going to go to this place.
When I first saw that, I was almost expecting like half it would be like a video game version of Interdimensional.
I know, me too. And I was a little worried about like, oh no, they're just gonna like do Interdimensional Cable with video games, which I mean, it could be fun, but based on the little teaser I saw, I don't know. It just seems a little like it's kind of like, hey, and we're doing Interdimensional Cable with a twist yet again. But yeah. So I mean, with the new kind of gaming console, I love me. I love mundanity, and I love the fact that we have like this mundane realism kind of like slant to everything. It was utter gold. Like we go from the arcade setting to like, hey, let's go to like 10 on the realistic scale. And of course, what's 10 on the realistic scale?
No asteroids in space.
Yep, you're just drifting in space, and the thing that cracked me up was like, you make a video for your son.
It's like I float around space looking for an asteroid.
Yep.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why realism doesn't really have much of a place in video games unless it can be tailored into something fun.
Exactly. And I think the thing that I loved even more so was Street Fighter with the twist of you have to find the guy on the street in like the city, so you have to build I thought that was the best gag of the episode for me.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was just, and then we had like kind of like I don't know what you call this. I don't know. Jay, do you know what you kind of call this game? Like you type, it's kind of like a role play sort of thing where like you type in.
It's almost like I mean, yeah, it's one of those text adventure games, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the classic one, like Zorg or something, or Zord. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds right. There was something with a Z, I think, but yeah. So that the whole the idea like it just kind of escalates very oddly. Your mother's at the airport. What? Now she's in the shadows. What? The shadows and there are vampires in the clearing.
It's Zork.
Zork. Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I mean, I know this probably isn't exactly based on Zork.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I recall, Zork I think was in Big, the Tom Hanks movie.
It's like so. Yeah, it's like you go forest. You're in a forest. Going north. You're still in a forest. Your mother's at the airport. Wait, what? And then once they get out of the forest, vampires. It's like, what? There are no vampires here. That's unrealistic. It's like, obviously, it's a dimension where vampires hunt in clearings, Morty. It's like, we're given the same information as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well,
yeah. See. Like I said, I was almost expecting it to, and it almost, in a way, it almost kind of is like a video game version of Interdimensional Cable, just controlled.
Yeah, like it was kind of in the background though. It was very. Again, it was kind of scaled back versus like the whole episode is framed around this. Where no, it factors into the episode rather nicely.
Which is kind of interesting considering Justin Roiland's at foray into games himself.
Yeah. All right, so again, so it's Thanksgiving, and we have Space Beth joining us Thanksgiving, which, by the way, is kind of like shout out something.
Yeah.
The winter setting, very nice. I really like the winter. It looked really pretty in the episode, the winter, the snow and everything.
That it did, and maybe now's a good time to bring it up, Dragon. So, season 6 of Jerry Watch.
God. Yeah, so it's funny. This episode is reminiscent. I know that was Christmas, but we're kind of at Thanksgiving right now. But this episode we do with Jerry is very reminiscent of Anatomy Park, in which Jerry's parents are kind of swingers. That's not the exact proper. I don't want to use the actual term, but let's just say Jerry's father's watching the action go down. That's ultimately.
I mean, the term itself was actually used within this episode.
I know it's used in the episode. I don't want to say it, but yes, it's used in the episode.
Then I guess I wouldn't. I guess I shouldn't say it either.
Well, you can say it. I'm not going to say it, but yeah.
All right. I mean, Rick himself says the word.
Yeah, I know he says the word. Yes.
But yeah, all right.
Point being, yeah. So that's the thing. So this, so here's the thing. At the top of the episode, it was the usual fare with Jerry's like, oh, God, Jerry. Where Jerry ruins the toast, and he's doing like the whole "I would kill myself if she cheated on me," which obviously is set up for the third act of our episode, but it's just really like kind of painfully drawn out. I was like, what are we doing? It's like, but impressive. I don't know. I think Jerry did get a little better by the. I think that we did make some Jerry strides later on. We had a very kind of it was odd, mind you, but it did have kind of a grown up perspective on things ultimately.
I mean, yeah, he ultimately kind of took control.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
I mean, and he stood up and was like, "All right, I wouldn't kill myself. I just pack my shit and go look for jobs in a Starbucks Wi-Fi."
Yep.
Which is nice, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's rightfully pissed.
He is, and the thing I really love that we call out here in the relationship is like, hey, why don't you just, it's always the cloak and dagger like thrill of the affair. Why don't you just ask me first?
Yeah, he was fine with it.
That's what I'm saying. It's always like, just like, why? It's always the thing with that's the age old problem with the affair, Jacob. Don't you think someone would just say, "Hey, listen, I'm a little unsatisfied in the marriage right now. Do you mind if we have like an open marriage? Could we do some stuff? Like, what do you think?"
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna get into that whole thing.
Well, no, look, I'm not. Look, I'm just saying, like, in the perspective of like to maybe circumvent the adultery, be like, it's like, no offense, feel free to say no, but what do you think? Should we, should we try to like salvage things here? Do you want to go our separate ways? Like, what do you think? You know?
Like, I mean, I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't have any. I mean, I've had one girlfriend, and that was in high school 10 years ago.
Well, again, we're not talking like a 20-year marriage. So that's a fair point. So
Yeah, yeah, I know. Like I can't really say, but
yeah,
I mean,
my point is we had a fun slant on like adultery that we
yeah,
never like no one ever calls out. That's my
yeah,
point.
but Jerry's in the unique position where like the person that his wife is cheating on him with is the clone of herself,
Yeah, so there's a
or
really
or she's the clone and she's with the original version of herself.
point being, there's a very interesting kind of gray area at play here. Now, speaking of that gray area, so Beth and Space Beth, yeah, so they have, they basically have the best way I can describe it is they have, which is so funny given this writer, I believe, is a Rick and Morty writer, if I recall. It's very much a dirtier version of kind of Loki and Sylvie's relationship in the Loki show.
It's like, well, yeah, that's a more like an interdimensional, different timeline, multiversal thing for, and all they've done is basically kiss instead.
Yeah.
And obviously, Beth and Space Beth went beyond that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. This is the dirtier version of that. Where it's very much like the question of like it's kind of like a narcissism thing, which is a narcissism or finding a way to love yourself.
It's like as Beth points out, is it doesn't make me the healthiest or least healthy person in the universe.
Yeah. So again, I love there's like a it's demented yet logical how much chemistry and like romantic tension that they have, which I found really really interesting. Is the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, there's it's I mean they're kind of selling me on it. It's very wrong, but they're kind of selling me on because they actually do support each other.
In the opening, I was like, are they going there? And then once they got into space, like, yep, they're going there.
See, initially I'm thinking, nah, but then I'm realizing, wait a minute, the episode's called Basic Instinct. Egad!
Bethic Twinstinct, technically.
Right, yes. Basic Twinstinct.
Maybe finally an episode that doesn't have Rick or Morty in the title.
Yeah, but it has another Sanchez in it, so and I think we've done that with Jerry, haven't we, before?
I mean, I believe so, but after so many episodes that have Rick and Morty, the names Rick and or Morty forced into the title,
yeah,
it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So, all right, okay. So we have. I'll tell you. I think we have this running gag where basically the kids kind of like they overhear the affair going on because they're not hiding it very well, and pretty much all the family, but like, Jerry knows.
It's summer season when they're like outside the ship at night.
And basically, we just have this gag where we keep coming back to them playing the video game system they don't really want to play, but they're playing it to escape their problems.
It's like the numbness.
Yep.
And then Rick, Rick knows, but is like more annoyed by the fact that they're hogging the game than anything else.
Yep. Now I'll tell you what I think the best. I think the best writing in the episode was. It was the whole forgetting the ice cream talk with Rick between kind of father and daughter. It was a very great conversation for them to have. It was written in a really adult way. I love how Rick was just, wasn't like making jokes or making like, really harsh assumptions or anything. It was just very much.
I mean, he was speaking the truth that like secrets can be great, but they do pile up.
Exactly. So again, I love he was like kind of no judgments. Like he wasn't like poo-pooing the relationship. He essentially intimates that, he has been there with other versions of himself over time. So he essentially kind of gives her permission, but with a kind of like a caution there of like, they pile up.
Yeah. It basically says like it's not just your ice cream; it's your family's ice cream.
Yeah.
And basically, I love like the late. Was that the same scene where he's like, it's like I'm gonna get high, I'm gonna get stoned and watch your kids.
Yeah.
Or is that later?
Well, that's. I forget if that's after Jerry like comes to or not. I don't know. It might have been.
Yeah, I think that was after Jerry cocooned himself.
Yeah, might have been.
Like, but yeah, that was still like another good Rick line. It's like, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna let you sort out your own shit.
Yeah. So speaking of which, so Jerry, yeah, this is a heck of an act break. I got to admit, it was quite a fun reveal. Like Jerry, he turns into like a little bug ball kind of cocoon thing.
That Rick did for him is like, and he got he got tattoos. Like we were drunk. He told him his desire. Like I wanted tattoos.
You know, it's funny. I love that now this season we're kind of calling it back a few times. We basically have kind of drunkest ex machina with drunk Rick now, where every time we need like, how does this outlandish thing happen that we never explain? Oh, Rick did it when he was drunk.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah. Then basically, if anything confusing happens that no one can explain, it's like, yeah, Rick was probably drunk.
Pretty much Vindicators.
Yeah.
Really? Why do we have that? Vindicators. Okay.
Yeah, we can almost always chalk it down to Rick was drunk.
Apparently, if you pry Jerry out of the little cocoon ball, he comes out like Shrek.
Ouch.
Yeah, apparently.
Is that a good? Would that be good or bad? I mean,
Well,
it sounds like it would be pretty bad.
I wonder if when he says that he means like literally Shrek or just like a green ogre of sorts.
Probably best not to find out.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't now. Impressively, we do not Eternal Sunshine a solution this episode. You know, because initially it seems like okay, we're going to like erase the memories of the relationship. So then, of course, Rick calling out the ethical thing here of like, oh yeah, sure, like your kids and your loved ones get to bear the memory of it, but you'll be scot free, you'll be okay. It's like yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and then a lot of times they blame Rick for cloning them, but
Yeah.
it's like well, you're the one who cloned us. It's like, will I ever live that down?
No.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that is a good response to that. He's like you cloned your daughter, you have to pay for the consequences, Rick.
So our ultimate solution for this situation is quite unusual. We have essentially instead of Eternal Sunshine this away, we have a three-way of sorts. We have a three. I don't know how we don't know what goes on.
A very loud one.
That's the thing. Because it's so loud, we don't. Here's the thing. I think, like the kids, I don't think we really want to listen in to what exactly is going on because if you, I don't know, there's a mental gymnastics that's going on like off screen of like, okay, so is Jerry participating? Is it a three-way or is he just instructing? Like what's there's a lot of talking going on there, and we don't know what's happening, and we don't need to know what's happening. We don't need to know, but it's just and the fact that the poor kids, while they're trying to enjoy Thanksgiving dinner with old Grandpa Rick, it's quite twisted. Yes.
Yeah, and they can't portal away from this one.
Nope, and like Morty's begging, like, "Oh, you gotta fix the portal now, Morty. I don't want to fix it all."
It's like he's basically what he said was like, "You complaining makes me want to fix it less."
Exactly.
Basically, even he gets tired of Morty's shit sometimes.
Yeah, but I think it's less just him getting entire Morty. I think it's more just like, hey, I can't. It's like physically, I can't do something I'm asked to do. I gotta do it on my own, and you asking me is now not helping the situation because I'm not going to build it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is impressive how Jerry managed to like take control of it. Like he owned up to it basically.
Yeah, it's funny how we did kind of throw Wonder Woman 84 under the bus again, and
it was in this scene I'm using for the thumbnail. Like it's very useful if you want to like coach or if you have Summer's opinion on Wonder Woman 1984, which is probably a jab like a jab against that movie probably.
Most likely, yeah. My point is, it's interesting because the end solution is kind of like William Molden Marston-esque. He was all into kind of like essentially a three-way relationship that was about dominance and permissions and stuff like kind of a bondage-y sort of thing. So
yep, the creator of Wonder Woman was into bondage.
Yeah, I mean, I forget if like the term is technically BDSM or what.
The B in BDSM stands for bondage.
Well, I know that. I'm just trying to think of. I think I'm botching the acronym. I think
BDSM, bondage, sadism, masochism.
So what's the fourth letter?
Well, but bondage, dominance, sadism, and masochism.
There we go. Okay.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Now we've learned our ABCs of bondage. Okay.
Yeah, don't ask me how I know that.
I'm not. You keep bringing it up. I'm not asking you. You know.
But yes, that's what that means.
Regardless. So it's kind of this weird kind of permission thing that we have here, where again it's like, yeah, maybe if you asked permission, you might have like it's the lie that really hurts in the adultery situations, the betrayal and the lie before it's actually like, wait, you like, look at, it's almost like the Clerks thing, 37, that whole thing. It's like, why didn't you tell me it was 37?
Again, like I said, I kind of agree with Jerry on a lot of this one, and heck, even Earthbeth did too on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, just if you're gonna do that, you should. And again, it's kind of interesting that Jerry would have this perspective, especially after he finds out kind of his parents have sort of a arrangement like that with their live-in friend.
Was that with this Jerry, or was that with another Jerry?
Well, I think technically it was the Jerry who got killed. It was C-137 Jerry, technically.
Yeah. So that wasn't this Jerry then. As far as we know,
it was always the question of what the whole ad infinitum thing is. It a universe exactly the same until the diverging point in the episode, or what? So I mean, essentially, maybe those events happened, but then Cronenberg things. I don't know.
It's like yeah, because I think that episode happened before they got Cronenberg.
Yeah, no, you're right. It did. So I'm just saying, I don't know if it's like in the universe they ended up now into the Cronenberg thing. That everything up to the Cronenberg thing still happened, like Snowball and everything. And
so maybe that did happen in this universe.
It's my assumption is that it was kind of their out.
I mean, apparently it's different where they have to pronounce it the cheese as Parmesan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like there are small differences, but they seem to be subtle differences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho,
well, yeah, it's like definitely an interesting way to resolve the conflict of the episode, anyway.
And it's not like we haven't done worse, and they called that out in the episode by Space Beth name dropping. Maybe I'll see my grandson while I'm out there, because we shouted out the incest baby Naruto.
Yeah.
Naruto the incest baby.
Yeah, for less said about that one, the better.
Yeah. It's not pretty. So, now here's something big we should talk about. The ending was very important. The suggestion I took away from, so Rick's putting this bottle of wine that both the best were drinking when they're kind of flirting with each other and like doing the back thing and kind of falling for each other. The presumption I got from it the assumption I made looking at it is that Rick had that wine out when it probably shouldn't have been out, and they drank it. It's like might be like an aphrodisiac or something that caused them to have their little affair, which did kind of come out of nowhere, or did it? So that's the thing. I don't know. He put it in the shelf, but I'm saying the fact that he takes it, he puts it in like this awesomely kind of like out of nowhere shelf, and then he destroys the remote that reveals it, implies to me that I think that this is accidentally Rick's doing.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely hinted at anyway, because they did drink that, and then that's when the stuff kind of started heating up.
Yeah, the implication is probably quite horrific for Rick, is that he's accidentally caused kind of a. Well, again, I'm not saying it's not really incest, but it's the fact that like I had my daughter and her clone.
I guess the term would be self-incest, maybe. I
guess that's the term.
Like, I don't know.
Well, my point is, however, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think here's the thing. Now, I'm thinking about that now, because if you look at Rick potentially having some guilt over, oh God, I've had my daughter and technically my other daughter, because I've overlooked this detail, they've consummated with each other, and that's sick and wrong. But again, unless you look at it in terms of if it happened, it's so weird. Like if it happened naturally, you're not looking at it in those terms. You're looking at it in kind of like the whole narcissistic kind of multiversal terms of sorts. But again, it's not a multiverse thing. It's a clone.
Yes, but if it's partially Rick's fault.
Yeah, it's the fact that if Rick unnaturally made this happen, it's like there's a lot of horrific implications if you overthink it. So yeah, it happened, and they're moving on, and we're unsure how this is going to go.
Isn't it something that apparently that he even wanted to get rid of, and that's why he destroyed the remote?
Yeah.
Like he hit it, then destroyed the remote. Like Well, that'll never. Hopefully, that never happens again.
You'll notice in one of those bottles there's a tiny little Morty in there.
I didn't actually notice that.
Yeah, and like in the cabinet, it opens up the bottom bottom left hand corner is like a bottle that has like a tiny little Morty in like the shirt and pants and everything, just floating in the bottle.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, no idea what that's about. Okay, then we have our coda at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, we go back to the Jerry daycare, which initially I was saying, oh, hey, it's the Jerry daycare. That was like the one time I really liked Jerry. I like the idea they have like this daycare of Jerry's, and it's like the nurse, I guess like the nurse of the kind of the attendant, essentially says, oh no, you need to be brought here. Well, why? Well, sometimes Jerry's come to touch the other Jerry's. It's like, oh no, God. Basically, we saw Jerry get experimental with himself on a street corner, essentially, where
he basically hugs and kisses the other guy, just like a little peck on the lips. They're like, oh, thank you.
I'll admit, that's what I'm saying. Usually, again, I think on principle we didn't need that scene, but I do like it was like a little brief experimentation, very innocent. Okay, thanks. Just move on. That's pretty funny. That'll work. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yeah, I mean, they just gave it a try, and then there you go.
Yeah.
Nothing more came out of it.
Yep. And again, maybe suggesting that it was all the wine, or that again, if the wine is what made them go so crazy with each other, and Jerry's like, well, we tried, it didn't click. Maybe it's
No, I mean, either that's saying something about Jerry, doesn't even find himself that way, or maybe that says something about Beth. Who knows?
I'm thinking it says something more about like, it was the wine doing all that.
Well, maybe we'll have more concrete answers.
Yeah, we'll see, because that's the thing. If she comes back and she doesn't feel that way, then it was definitely the wine.
Yeah, but
then again, it started something. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, they weren't really drinking the wine most of the episode.
So that's the thing. So most likely, it might have the question of like the lingering effects. If it kickstarted something, then they took themselves the rest of the way.
I mean, that's entirely possible. I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't be the strangest thing this show has done.
Yeah.
I mean, Rick's literally created a love potion before.
Yeah, well, then it created a whole Cronenberg universe.
Except fortunately, this one didn't lead to a Cronenberg universe.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, now that the Rickest Rick is on the loose, all the people in the Cronenberg verse are dead, basically.
Yeah. Wiped out a whole, can't say wiped out a whole place. You basically wiped out the last living remnant of the place.
Yep. Another Jerry one.
Yep.
Jerry's doing pretty well for himself this season. I mean, I think so anyway. I mean, I never really had a severe dislike of Jerry like you have.
I'm sorry, Jacob. I didn't quite hear what you said about Jerry before.
I said Jerry's doing pretty well for himself this season, is what I said.
I mean, we'll see. I think they get kind of a spike in this episode. Maybe it'll take, but the Cronenberg Jerry was awesome. So we'll see.
Yeah, and like I said, I've never had the severe distaste for him that you have.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But even then, I do kind of agree with everything that you said so far about this episode.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd rank it as high as previous episodes or as high as the last 2 episodes of this season. I mean, basically last week's was pretty interesting, even though some of the Die Hard stuff got old. I mean, I think it's better than last week's episode, but I don't think it's better than episode 1. That
sounds about right. I'd agree with that.
Like so far, it's 2 of 3.
Okay.
I mean, where would you rank it so far?
Well, that's where I'd rank it, Jacob. I mean, of this season, I would put it over 2.
All right. I mean, do you think there's anything else we should discuss? Like anything else that's particularly memorable that stands out to you?
I mean, I think we've covered it. I think we've kind of run the gambit. I think we've yeah. Oh, how'd the ice cream look to you? It looked tantalizing, or just like a green mesh?
I mean, it looked pretty interesting. I mean, we didn't really get a good look at it.
Yeah.
It just looked like it's supposedly vanilla, but it's green.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Maybe they have a different kind of vanilla.
Space ice cream. Bum, bum, bum.
Like we forgot the ice cream.
Forgot the ice. That's the new code for it on the streets, Jacob.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this. I tell you, man, the filthiest thing I can remember on Rick and Morty with this episode was the that guts line, man. That was rather filthy.
Which one? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What was, how did it go again?
I think it was something along the lines of
I
let me get in those guts like one of your Phillies or something like that. It was really just.
and that's the filthiest thing you've ever heard on this show.
I mean, I'm saying no. I'm saying this season for sure. I mean, probably in a while though, because I think the last thing was the gutters line during the train episode. That was pretty much. Oh god, you never hear that thing. You never hear that.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, basically there's a shorthand for old guys who essentially are jacked and cut essentially. So they're they got abs and everything, and there's a very filthy nickname for guys with abs and stuff. Something gutters.
Ow.
Yeah. So it's not kind of it's so point I'm saying I haven't really heard something like that since this for me. Like sounds like, oh god, you so rarely do you hear something so graphic like that. So yeah, this episode really went for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go too far. It didn't cross too many lines. I mean, the show does cross some lines, but it always straddles between it most of the time. But it usually doesn't go too far. I mean, like I said, it's not like episode 4 from last season, so
Yeah.
But,
I'll tell you like a cool gadget thing. I love that Rick can just push a button on his wrist or a watch or something. He has pants and clothes and everything. So it just instantly pops up. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, because when he comes back as the turkey, he doesn't have any clothes on.
Yeah, a regular thing with Rick Sanchez. Yeah, he's always kind of walking around like that.
And even Jerry's just like, Rick, clothes.
It's Thanksgiving, pants.
it's like he's not even upset. He's just like okay, Rick, just wear some clothes, damn it.
Yeah, we're trying to eat turkey.
Oh god, it's like you kind of expect that from Rick, but
yeah. I wonder if at the end of the day someone's gonna make a list of all the things Rick's turned into because we have a turkey, we've got a pickle.
I'm a pickle, Morty.
Kind of like a toxic version of himself.
We're slime.
Yeah.
Oh god, the toxic episode.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Let's see. What else has he turned himself into? It was well, technically, there was a Cronenberg one from a different universe.
And there's a whole montage of it. Remember when he was finding his way back, and he turns a teddy bear. He turned into a bee monster thing.
Oh yeah, that was episode. That was in season 5, wasn't it? No,
yeah, it was in 5. I just don't remember.
I think that was season 4.
It was 4 or 5.
I think it was the premiere of season 4.
Oh yeah, you're right because Rick was a hologram because he was busy doing that thing. Yeah,
I think because the season premiere, the season premiere of last season was Mr. Nimbus.
Yeah, you're right. It was season 4. Yeah, he controls the police.
I think we brought that up for these three episodes.
Well, considering the Submariner is going to make his appearance this year, it feels appropriate, don't you think?
You have to, but I don't think the Submariner controls the police, or maybe he does.
We don't know. We don't know what the Submariner does in his off time. Who knows? He might go clubbing for all we know. I don't know.
It's he invades Wakanda, apparently.
Yeah, no, we know that much. Yeah, we know that. He probably would. I'd love to see.
Maybe he controls a kind of police.
I would love to see this Submariner. I know nothing about him yet in the MCU based on Wakanda Forever. All I know is his people has a name that's going to drive me nuts because we're not just going with Atlanteans. We're giving a new name that we have to get used to.
And what is it?
I'm going to butcher it. It's I don't know. Point being, it'd be really funny to see that the new Submariners watching Avatar.
Yeah,
I think that'd be funny.
Yep, that would be fun.
Yep. All right. I think that about does it for us. I think we're all saddled up.
Yep. Well, I mean, any speculation going forward? And did you see this? Did you see the preview for next week's episode?
No, I didn't. What was it?
Well, basically, well, there's not much revealed about it. I mean, let me see if I can actually. Basically, what happened in the episode was in the preview was that apparently Rick has like a dream person that comes when he's asleep, and apparently was doing crunches in the living room while Beth was talking to him, trying to sleep.
Do we know what the episode's called?
Let me see, Rick and Morty season 6. It's called Night Family.
Ah, yes, Night Family. Okay, yeah, yeah. So it might be kind of like a dreamscape sort of thing, maybe.
All right, apparently we do have some future episodes that aren't necessarily numbered yet.
Okay.
All right, the Rictional Mortpoon's Rickness Mortcation.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. This one actually makes sense with full meta Jack Rick.
Yeah.
I mean, that one actually makes sense.
Probably going to be a war-related one.
Like, Final Destination, just the word Final Destination.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, as far as it's been confirmed anyway, it very well could change it to something else. A Rick and King Arthur's Mort.
Okay, that might be really funny.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a time travel episode because they don't do those.
Well, think about it. They don't have portals anymore, so maybe they do.
Or maybe they'll get transported to something else, or maybe it's a misdirecting title, like, Rick Lantis mixed up kind of thing.
Could be.
Okay, 2 more. Analyze Piss.
Wait, what?
Analyze Piss.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's a play on the phrase analyze this.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's called Analyze Piss.
Okay, it's a weird way to take that, but yeah.
And Jurixic Mort.
Yeah, that one's gonna be. I wonder if we're gonna. No, they're not gonna do Anatomy Park again, but it'd be funny.
I mean, very well they could be.
Yeah, it seems too easy. It seems like a misdirect.
Now we'll find out. It could be another dinosaur episode.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, we've had dragons. Why not dinosaurs? Maybe down the line they'll fix the portal gun or the portal device, whatever it's called.
Well, at some point, whenever Evil Morty comes back, we got to address the portal thing. And probably remember, the big thing we have to speculate on this season is that the Rickest Rick is he's probably tracking that portal travel, which means he's going to be trying to find Evil Morty, who now controls the portals. If I'm a betting man, that's probably what's going to happen there.
Probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, so we'll it's probably going to be we're building to either in like episode 8 or 10. So
Yep. I have no idea. This show throws a lot of curveballs at us.
Yep, I mean this episode case in point, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting episode. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps it up for tonight, folks. Tune in next week, where I won't be here next week. I'll be on a cruise next week, so it'll be Tiki and Dragon doing next week's episode solo, unless they bring another guest on.
Yeah.
All right. Now, thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
Back in the blender with the extra long cord.